Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say it.
What happens when a hip-hop mogul's empire crumbles under the weight of his own alleged crimes? And how did a comedian's offhand remarks on a podcast turn into a legal nightmare for one of the most powerful men in entertainment? The courtroom drama surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has reached fever pitch, with the Bad Boy founder reportedly desperate to keep comedian Katt Williams from taking the stand. Woody Williams, whose January 2024 appearance on Club Shay Shay included jaw-dropping revelations about turning down Diddy's infamous parties, now finds his words haunting the mogul as federal prosecutors circled.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole.
Diddy's legal team is scrambling to block Williams' potential testimony, fearing the comedian could deliver a knockout blow to their client's already shaky defense. The stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy faces charges including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation for prostitution, with a life sentence looming if convicted. Months before federal agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami, Katt Williams sat across from Shannon Sharpe and dropped bombshells that now sound eerily prescient. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024, Williams declared. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. All lies will be exposed.
I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
But it was Williams' claim about rejecting $50 million 0 cents 4 times to avoid Diddy's parties that sent shockwaves through the industry. I had to protect my integrity, Williams quipped, referencing Diddy's notorious gatherings with a mix of humor and ominous warning. At the time, fans dismissed it as classic Katt hyperbole. Now, prosecutors see it as a potential roadmap to Diddy's alleged crime. Observers inside Manhattan's federal courthouse described Diddy as a shell of his former self. Gone is the brash, champagne-flaunting mogul who once boasted, "I'm a savage, whatever I want, I get." In his place sits a gaunt, gray-haired defendant whose hands reportedly tremble as witnesses detail allegations of coercion, violence, and exploitation.
Secret talent.
Clairvoyant.
You're clairvoyant?
Yes, sir.
Psychic?
Yes, sir.
During jury selection, Diddy, unable to dye his hair in jail, reportedly asked the judge for a bathroom break, admitting, "Your Honor, I'm a little nervous." The contrast is staggering. The same man who threw legendary white parties, now reduced to begging for mercy in a case that could bury him. Prosecutors claim Diddy operated a decades-long criminal enterprise under the guise of his music empire, using his wealth and influence to lure victims into drug-fueled freak-offs. One witness described a Miami party where phones were locked in pouches, guests were handpicked for the main house, and nudity, narcotics, and sex were rampant by sunrise. Diddy was recruiting who he wanted inside, the witness testified, alleging the mogul pointed at her and said, "That's the one I want." This matches civil lawsuits from over 100 accusers, including Cassie Ventura, whose 2023 lawsuit triggered the avalanche of legal woes. Surveillance footage from 2016 shows Diddy assaulting Ventura in a hotel hallway. A video so damning even his apology couldn't undo the damage.
It's all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
The prosecution hit a snag when victim 3, a key witness tied to the racketeering charge, vanished. Subpoenaed but unreachable, her absence could weaken the case. Yet Diddy's team isn't celebrating. Why? Because Katt Williams still lurks as a wild card. Legal experts argue Williams' testimony could corroborate patterns of secrecy and intimidation around Diddy's parties. If the judge allows it, Williams might reveal why he turned down those $50 million 0 cents invites, details that could cement Diddy's fate. Diddy's fall is unprecedented. Howard University revoked his honorary degree, radio stations scrubbed his music, even New York City took back his key to the city. Meanwhile, resurfaced clips like Diddy joking about locks on the doors at parties now sound sinister. Usher, who lived with Diddy as a teen, once called the environment pretty wild. Asked if he'd send his own kids to Puffy Camp, Usher replied, "Hell no."
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
Now, amongst the many allegations.
With the trial expected to last 8 weeks, Diddy's fate hinges on whether Williams testifies. The comedian's January 2024 warning, 2024 is the year of reckoning, has already proven prophetic. If he takes the stand, Diddy's worst fears may come true. For a man who built an empire on confidence and control, the sight of him shaking in court, begging the judge for protection from a comedian's words, is the ultimate irony. The question isn't just whether Diddy will be convicted, it's whether the industry will ever recover from what's been exposed. As Diddy's legal team scrambles to contain the fallout from Katt Williams' revelations, a fresh bombshell drops. Secret recordings from inside Diddy's inner circle have surfaced. These tapes, allegedly leaked by a former Bad Boy employee, capture conversations about party protocols, including confiscating phones and vetting attendees. Prosecutors argue this proves premeditation in Diddy's alleged sex trafficking ring, while his lawyers dismiss it as business as usual in celebrity circles. The recordings also mention unnamed high-profile guests, fueling speculation about which A-listers might be dragged into the scandal. With the judge yet to rule on their admissibility, Diddy's team is pushing to suppress them, claiming chain of custody issues. If admitted, these tapes could turn the trial into a Hollywood reckoning.
Facing right now. This is what, the 5th, 6th, 10th person that's come out and said the same thing.
Katt Williams isn't the only star giving Diddy sleepless nights. Rumors swirl that prosecutors have a secret list of celebrity witnesses, figures who attended Diddy's parties or heard whispers about his activities. Names like Usher, who once described Diddy's home as pretty wild, and Meek Mill, previously linked to a civil suit involving Diddy, are floating in legal circles. Even Justin Bieber's teenage interactions with Diddy are under scrutiny after resurfaced videos showed the mogul joking about getting girls with the then underage singer. While none are accused of crimes, their testimonies could paint a damning picture of Diddy's world. Legal analysts note that prosecutors don't need smoking guns, just enough stars to confirm a culture of secrecy. Since being denied bail, Diddy has reportedly been writing frantic letters to allies, begging for support and lobbying behind the scenes. Sources claim these letters reveal his deteriorating mental state, with one ranting about betrayals by former friends. Inmates at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center describe him as paranoid, obsessively tracking trial coverage, and scribbling legal notes. His legal team has downplayed the letters, but insiders say they've alarmed even his staunchest defenders. Worse, prosecutors allegedly have copies and may use them to prove witness tampering if Diddy's pleas veer into coercion. For a man who once ruled clubs and boardrooms, the isolation of jail is a humbling new low. Beyond the courtroom, Diddy's business ventures are imploding. Revolt TV, his media network, has distanced itself, while liquor giant Diageo severed ties with his Ciroc vodka brand, costing him 9 figures. His Sean John clothing line, once a fashion staple, is now a ghost brand. Even his real estate luxury homes in Miami and Los Angeles is being eyed for asset seizures to cover legal fees and settlements. Financial experts estimate his net worth has halved since the raids, with creditors circling. The irony? Diddy built an empire on the hustle narrative. Now, his own hustle is unraveling faster than a Bad Boy contract.
And over the years, people have been dropping little hints, but Katt came out and just exposed the whole truth. Now, if you watch that full interview,
Cassie Ventura's 2023 lawsuit broke the dam, but why did it take so long? Insiders point to a toxic trifecta: NDAs, industry clout, and fear. Former employees describe a mafia-like atmosphere where dissenters were blackballed or paid off. Even victims who settled privately admit they feared Diddy's connections. One recalls being warned he owns the police. The rise of Me Too and New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Act, extending statutes of limitations, finally gave accusers leverage. Yet some critics argue the music industry's complicity runs deeper, with labels and radio stations turning blind eyes for hits. Now, as Diddy fights for his freedom, the industry faces its own day of reckoning.
he comes out and tells the truth about a lot of stuff, and it starts to add up, and a lot of these people will sit and lie to your face.
Diddy's lawyers are gambling on a controversial defense, arguing his parties were just consensual swinging among adults. They've subpoenaed past partners willing to testify they participated willingly, framing Diddy as a libertine, not a predator. But prosecutors counter that consent is irrelevant when drugs, coercion, and power imbalances are involved. A key battleground is the freak-off footage. Diddy's team insists it shows adults having fun, while the DOJ calls it evidence of exploitation. The strategy risks backfiring. If jurors see the defense as victim blaming, Diddy's Playboy image could cement his guilt. Once a PR maestro, Diddy is losing the media battle. His camp's early attempts to paint him as a target of overzealous prosecutors fell flat after the Cassie video leaked. Now they're pushing fluff pieces about his jailhouse charity donations, but no one's buying it. Meanwhile, TikTok detectives and legal YouTubers dissect every courtroom sketch, turning the trial into a public spectacle. Even his Instagram posts, once meticulously curated, now reek of desperation. The lesson? In the digital age, no amount of bad boy swagger can spin away federal charges. A conviction wouldn't just land Diddy in prison, it would send shockwaves through hip-hop. DOJ could use this case as a blueprint to investigate other moguls with similar allegations. Record labels might purge problematic problematic artists preemptively, and insurers could demand stricter morality clauses, for black culture the fallout is thornier. While accountability is overdue, Diddy's philanthropic work, like funding HBCUs, complicates the narrative. Some fear his downfall could embolden racist thug stereotypes, while others argue it's a needed purge of toxic power. Either way, the verdict will redefine celebrity justice.
Like, we don't have photographic evidence. We got you in 4K, bro. We got you in 4K. The biggest trick the devil pulled was convincing people that he does not.
Behind bars, Diddy's legendary swagger has evaporated. Prisoners report he's lost significant weight, his signature manicured look replaced by unkempt gray hair and hollow cheeks. Guards claim he spends hours pacing his cell, muttering about the case and scribbling notes for his legal team. The mogul, who once partied until dawn, now reportedly struggles to sleep, jumping at every noise in the detention center's chaotic halls. This dramatic physical transformation has become a silent witness for prosecutors. Jurors can see the toll of the charges written on his face. Even his trademark confidence is fractured, with insiders saying he vacillates between defiance and despair during attorney visits. While hip-hop's old guard remains largely silent, Gen Z artists are openly distancing themselves from Diddy's legacy. TikTok rappers mock his downfall in viral skits, flipping his iconic bad boy catchphrases into dark memes. Underground collectives have started Diddy-free clauses in contracts, refusing to work with anyone tied to his empire. Streaming data shows his music plays dropping 37% among under 25 listeners since the raid. This rejection stings worse than financial losses. It signals his cultural irrelevance to the next generation. Meanwhile, young survivors applaud Cassie's bravery, with many calling her the R. Kelly case's Tarana Burke.
Exists. He said it in the interview. Everyone who sold they soul, their entire job is to convince you that they didn't sell they soul. They all.
Inside MDC Brooklyn, Diddy's celebrity status earns him no special treatment. Inmates say he's been relegated to middle-tier status, too famous to bully but too vulnerable to command respect. He reportedly trades commissary snacks for protection, a far cry from his $400 0 M empire. Gang leaders allegedly mock his downfall, calling him Puff Daddy Longlegs in reference to his lanky frame. Correctional officers note he's developed a nervous habit of checking over his shoulder, especially in the prison yard. This brutal social demotion may explain his reported desperation to secure a transfer to a cushier facility. Sean John's disappearance from urban fashion tells its own story. Once a status symbol, the brand has vanished from influencers' outfits and sneakerhead collections. Resale sites report a 92% drop in demand for vintage Sean John pieces since 2023. Designers who collaborated with Diddy now scrub those credits from their portfolios. Even thrift stores are bundling his clothing lines into generic Y2K lots to avoid the stigma. This sartorial shunning proves more damning than any court verdict. When hype beasts won't touch your legacy, you've truly lost cultural cachet.
In the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous as that goddamn long. I'm excited as a motherfucker to be at the mansion party. You be looking in all the goddamn rooms, and you fuck around and look in the wrong room and shit.
With months of trial ahead, explosive revelations could still surface. Legal experts speculate about undisclosed hard drives seized during the raids, possibly containing incriminating footage. There are whispers of a black book, naming powerful enablers across industries. Most chillingly, investigators may be building a separate case around the 25 alleged minor victims mentioned in civil suits. Every dismissed motion or delayed ruling suggests prosecutors are playing the long game. As one attorney put it, they didn't raid 3 mansions just for the baby oil receipts. The real bombshells may still be ticking. Who do you think will be the next witness to drop a bombshell? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to follow for real-time trial update.